Hello everybody in YouTube land, Scott373 here, and my camera is just not wanting to cooperate. There we go, it's a little better. Anyway, just want to talk to you today about the possibility that, Gibson may get a new CEO. They might very well do it this time. Just saw a news article today that actually yesterday too, that it is highly possible that Gibson will have to relinquish control of Henery J, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Not really certain. Anyway, apparently the bondholders and some investors are saying, well, we're not going to give you any more money until you get rid of this clown. Gibson has not done very good. I know that when, I believe it was in '86 when he first took the company over, things were going pretty good. He got them out, the northern years got kind of thin there and caused a lot of problems. And he kind of got them out of all of that. Well, now things was, what come around went around, and now he's not doing so good. And reading some articles about how he runs the company and reading some things about him. Take for example, I believe the hiring process is like, there's a test you have to take for like 3 hours, and you have to sit there and listen to his drivel back and forth. HJ is just not the leader they think he is, or he thinks he is. And the bondholders are saying no more money. If you want any kind of bailouts for this debt or whatever, if he wants to buy more bonds or whatever, then you're gonna have to change CEOs, because this guy is not pulling it off too well. And if you look at some of the product that they've came out with lately, it's not been very good. And what's really perturbed me is that HJ has really, Henery has just taken it on himself to blame everybody but himself. Just forget the fact that every guitar that they have has nothing short of an embarrassing price point. Like the Les Paul Scorpions look pretty good. That one that's black with a red stripe, it looks pretty good. I like it. Some of those neon Les Pauls that look like puke, wanting $4,000 for them. No, the disaster where they tried to show a new line of guitar, and one of them had very visible flaws in it, and that's just the crux of it. I mean, that's not even the scratch of the surface. I mean, Henery J is notorious for firing people that have different ideas or might have a better idea than his. He's not easy to work for. I've heard too that some of the guitars that they're making, the tools they're using, is just garbage. I mean, they're in such dire straits. The factories that's left in Nashville is in dire straits for better equipment, and the stuff that they're working with is just trash. And they're actually, they're lucky they can even cut firewood with some of the stuff they're using over there. Just a whole bunch of, he's just a big personality. He might be a good guy for, retail like Philips. I know Gibson and Philips Electronics is part of the brand, and so is TIAC and a couple of others. But, he might be good in those fields, but when it comes to guitar, it's a whole different thing. And now he's blaming, like, the music stores, for example. Well, their merchandising is not up to snuff. They're you go in there, you don't feel welcome, or, they leave all the expensive guitars high up. Yeah, there's a reason for that, Henry, because so nobody will sneak off and grab one and take off. They're high. Sometimes the Les Pauls will be high up on the wall. And if you ask a store salesman, they'll gladly get one down for you. But yeah, that's to keep people from grabbing them and running out the door with them like they used to all the time. So that's one of the reasons why, you'll find a Les Paul on the top rack, and yes, to keep them from stealing it. But here's the funny thing, though, and this is what Henery doesn't want to tell you. Fenders, a lot of times, when you go to a Gibson dealer, a lot of times they're also a Fender dealer. why in the heck is Fender not saying the same thing about these stores that don't make you feel welcome, Henry? Well, let me tell you why. Because they don't have a problem selling Fenders. Fender is not asking $4,000 for every guitar they have. Fender's not asking you to pay $3,900, $5,900 for a guitar that's half-ass made. Or doesn't have, they're not asking you to pay for a bunch of problems. The minute you pay for it, you have to turn right around, take it over to the tech desk and have it set up and have, things like neck alignments done that should have already been done. Tuning problems. I bought a Gibson Explorer here not too long ago, and it, for the most part, was, a good player. It's a great player. I like it. But I did notice like a little nick in the fretboard that's down on the side on one of the frets, the upper registries anyways. Yeah, I can remember a time when that didn't happen. But yeah, Henery J, don't blame the mom and pop shops. And ironically enough, these are the people that he has, ruled with an iron fist. Gibson, I hear, does not have a great reputation for working well with mom and pop shops. They don't have a reputation. They have a reputation for being very dictatorial over them. Like they want you to sell only their stuff, and you have to buy big gobs of stuff of theirs that doesn't sell, like the T-shirts. I'll guarantee you they'll probably sell one of their guitars before they'll sell a shirt, even though the shirt's cheaper. That you have to carry their cleaning kits and invest a lot of upfront capital to carry their stuff. As where Fender or maybe even Paul Reed Smith or somebody like that might work with you a little bit better on things. But no, they're not a very good place to work. And what's funny is the work quality has gotten so bad at Gibson that even Epiphone's becoming a better guitar. That's pretty shameful. But who can take it over? Who would be the person to end this tyrannical reign of Henery J? Well, my choice, as I said in the past, I know in the earliest part of this video I stated the obvious, but I've got a few nominees. I would say Wayne Charvel would be one of my first choices. Apparently, I talked to somebody. I happened to throw this name up on a Facebook group that I'm with, and someone said, "Yeah, that was a good call because he stated." Now, I didn't get this confirmed, but they said that Wayne Charvel actually had a shop in the Gibson factory in Nashville at one point in time. So I mean, he would be somewhat familiar. And I know some of you will say, "Well, what do you know?" They know way in hell he did. I'm just saying this would just be my fantasy picks. These are my fantasy picks. I think probably Gary Kramer. It'd be kind of funny if Gary Kramer. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's my ham radio. I forgot to cut it off. I forgot to cut that off. I'm sorry. I got my ham license here about less than a month ago, so I've got a little ham radio, and the repeater went off that I'm linked to. Anyway, I think Gary Kramer, I think it would be hilarious. Talk about things coming full circle. If he sits at the seat of the company that bought his name, I don't think he was in charge of Kramer at the time that Gibson acquired him. I think, you talk about a man that really surrounded himself with, bad people. He really did. He got screwed. Gary Kramer got screwed out of a lot of things. Who else would I pick? Jonathan Zahn of Zahn Basses. That'd be kind of fun. Just people who know guitar, who know what the customer wants, who knows what the player wants. Oh, I just lost half my lighting, sorry. who know what the customer wants, knows what the players want, know about guitar and what it means to get something good quality out the door. Somebody that has had a history of listening to musicians. You know, the guitarist of Mastodon, he said, my God, the company's just crap. He said they just don't care about musicians. And somebody said that years ago about them too, that they just don't listen to their musicians. They just don't care what their endorsees have to say. Even though I think it was Philip McKnight in a recent live thing, he was talking about how it's kind of strange that when people go to other companies, you know, like John Mayer's got that Signature series. He said when people go to another company like PRS or they go to somebody, he says it's kind of funny really, because when, you know, he was talking to somebody, I don't know who it was, and he said that it's funny because every time somebody asks, like let's say ESP, they'll want a Fender Strat or they'll want them to make a Les Paul, you know, of some sort. So, you know, the name Gibson still has, you know, still sticks with people, and you know, guys who like those guitar necks that feel like half of a baseball bat, they want to stick with that. You know, and even if they go to a different company other than Gibson, they're still going to want that Gibson Les Paul feel. You know, they've grown accustomed to it. Can't blame them. I know for many years I went through guitars like salt just to, I wanted to go back to Gibson again to get that Gibson feel, because nobody made anything like it. At least for me anyway. You know, your opinion's your opinion. You can have it. But yeah, we just need somebody to sit in that seat that cares about musicians, cares about getting the small shops back in order again. You know, someone who understands that, you know, your mom and pop shop don't have, you know, over, I think it's 40 grand to sometimes minimum just to get their name on the window, and to get some inventory to get started. You know, somebody who understands that, you know, and really just hungers to get that guitar in your hand. And, you know, I mean, I remember guys like the late Steve Clark of Def Leppard, you know, he used to say, I'll die with a Gibson in my hand. And nowadays people wouldn't be caught dead with one in the trunk of their car. So we need to kind of, you know, there'll be somebody that really hungers for that again. I also think too, you know, we talk about companies. Rumor says that Yamaha might even buy them as well. That would be interesting. They improved the Line 6. You know, Line 6 there. You know, a lot of people had a lot of hatred toward them, and Yamaha's kind of, you know, put the love in a little bit. I'm impressed with some of their effects still. Their amplifiers, not so much, but their other stuff, you know, really impressed with. You know, but yeah, I was thinking another name that came along that was discussed in a forum, Facebook forum that I'm in, was Hagstrom. I brought that up, and people said, yeah, that's another good idea. Hagstrom could take them over. You know, that might be too small of a company to be able to afford the kind of capital to buy the name, but still, you know, to have a guitar company that can build guitars with the class that they do is would not be, you know, would definitely be an addition. I just hope the guitar business is not like where the people with money don't know what they're doing, and the ones that don't have money do, but neither one, you know, that don't have money do know what they're doing, but neither one of them want to listen to each other. And I hope it doesn't go that way, because it seems to me like it's that way with Gibson right now. I just hope that they get a good takeover and appoint somebody who understands the guitar market. So anyway, I know it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, since I've made a video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to, and tune in. I keep them very simple. I don't have a lot of fancy effects. I just put a picture up and just film with my cell phone, you know. Kind of hoping to keep it that way, and see what happens. All right, so we will talk to you later. Have a great evening. Scott373. I hope to make another video pretty soon. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.